Afternoon Express Mzansi. I'm Palisa Tembe, and for today's Wellness Wednesday edition, in the midst of Women's Month, we're taking a look at something that affects most women once a month. Gaining important knowledge about our menstrual hygiene is key, and that's why we're taking a look at the Cora Project and to see how they're empowering young girls and women from vulnerable communities to end the cycle of period poverty. Dr. Almarie Busson discusses the importance of menstrual education, and we're kicking it all off by connecting with Beatrice Mutali from the UN Population Fund to find out what challenges are surrounding menstrual hygiene during the COVID-19 pandemic. South African women, ladies in the kitchen, let's show ourselves a little self-love today. So I want to find out from you on social media, what's your favorite part of your body?
Self-love is the best love, I think. And for me, my favorite part definitely has to be my eyes. I'd like to say my smile, but it's my eyes, because everyone actually compliments me on my eyes all the time.
You've got beautiful eyes, Jimmy. I must say, that is a beautiful, not the best, you've got beautiful, everything of you is beautiful. But that's a great answer.
Thank you.
And I'm going to make today some braised beans on toast.
Ooh,
creamy, delicious, garlicky, with some parmesan and some parsley. It's going to be...
I could eat garlic out of a shoe, just by the way. That's how much I love garlic. But anyway, if you'd like to get your hands on this recipe, make sure you go on to afternoonexpress.co.za. But let's catch up with Beatrice.
Menstrual hygiene is vital to the empowerment and well-being of women and girls worldwide. We chat to Beatrice Mutali, a representative from the United Nations Population Fund, to find out more about some of the challenges facing menstrual health during these times. Welcome to the Loft, Beatrice.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Now, Beatrice, we do live in an era where menstruation is still taboo in many of our societies. Why do you think that this is the case?
There's a lot of stigma around menstruation, and I think if we look back, this really emanates from the fact that it is perceived as something dirty, something that one needs to be ashamed of, something that is hidden. And when we look at it, it really... women who go through menstrual cycles go through a lot of restrictions. Many of them we find in communities and societies end up being restricted from going to schools. Young people can't go to school, so there's absenteeism from school. They can't go to religious meetings. They cannot go to, they're kept away from cooking, from kitchens. And all this really comes from the fact that it's really embedded in the societal and cultural and traditional beliefs that we have around menstruation. And this really in itself really impedes on the gender equality of women, but also really impacts on their dignity as human beings.
Why has the issue of menstrual health become so important for women and young girls now?
I think what we're finding right now is that there is a growing realization amongst women, amongst girls, that unless they speak for themselves, unless they fight for their rights and advocate for their rights, no one will. And what we are finding now is that that is the change, that women are recognizing that they need to fight for their rights. The women and young girls need access to the information and education around their menstruation. They need access to resources so that they can have these commodities they need. And they also need support during these times. So it's really what has changed, and it is the realization that women need to advocate for themselves. And that's what's happening today.
The COVID-19 pandemic has brought about many changes to girls and women. What role has the UNFPA played to ensure that access to menstrual health products and education, information and communication continues during the COVID-19 period?
We realized that we needed to find a way to get to ensure continuity of information and services. So what we did is partner with our youth-serving organizations, partner with them to ensure that we could continue to find a way using existing media, using social media platforms, to ensure that information, education around menstrual health management continued to be accessed by young people. So we really worked with young people to reach out to other young people on the vital information they need.
So what are some of the challenges of addressing menstrual health and hygiene management during this period?
A key challenge, of course, has been access to services. That service has been limited because we know a lot of young girls, particularly those from poor households, were accessing their services through the school infrastructure. And with the close down of schools and restrictions on movement, that was a challenge. So UNFPA and our other partners, particularly the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities, Department of Social Development, WaterAid and other partners, what we did is look at how can we ensure provision of commodities and find a way that these young girls in difficult circumstances can continue to get access to the vital commodities they need, the sanitary pads, the soap, the water, etc. So it was really looking at innovative ways to ensure continued access during the COVID-19 crisis.
Now, Beatrice, finally, do you have any thoughts that you'd like to leave us with today? And keeping in mind that we are celebrating women this August.
I think, first of all, is really to applaud the government of South Africa, because the government of South Africa has been one of those governments that has been one of the ones that was really fast in setting up a national menstrual health coalition movement. We need to remember that there are young girls who probably are not going to school. There are young girls who are disabled. There are probably young girls who, for particular reasons, are in very hard to reach places. We need to make sure that they are not left behind. We need to find a way to really reach them and make sure that their potential is not curtailed, that they are not left behind simply because of their circumstances. And UNFPA remains committed to working with partners to ensuring access to all young girls.
Thank you so much for reaching these people, reaching these underprivileged environments, and helping out our young girls and women. We appreciate it so much, Beatrice Mutali.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much to Beatrice Mutali for the incredible work that she's doing, reminding us to keep a focus on education, communication, and spreading menstrual health and hygiene products to those in need. Whether you are in remote areas in South Africa or the city, head over to our social media platforms and let's share initiatives making a real difference.
The menstrual cycle is something that is quite cringeworthy when we talk about it. So it is great to see that people are doing something about it. I mean, Beatrice and the fund that they have are actually going into underprivileged neighborhoods and doing something that we don't necessarily take our time doing.
I think it's great because it will lift the stigma that's connected to it. Pali?
I mean, it's something natural that we go through, so I don't understand why it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And for me, ladies, that is just what's so iconic about all the women we're speaking to throughout the show today, is that they're breaking down those stigmas, that taboo subject that is periods, and kind of saying, you know what, let's sit down with our girls and let's help them understand. And in fact, whilst we add it, let's add the boys into this conversation, because it is so true. You know, as much as it happens to us physiologically, they are just as affected.
Very true, very true. I mean, I know of people who have dated their partners and to this day know the partner's cycle. They are like, okay, girl, I know you. I should make sure I get you. I'm like, okay, that's education right there.
Coming up, Chef Anele is going to make a contribution to the life-changing Woolies Fill It Bag campaign. And later, Aurora from the Cora Project will share how they are changing lives for the women and girls with menstrual education and resources. the feel-good energy this Magic Wednesday afternoon, we at Afternoon Express have decided to nominate and contribute to the Woolworths Fill a Bag campaign. As we all know, there's no amount too small, and every single pledge adds to make up a collective difference. To show us just how easy we can all help out, we've challenged our very own Chef Anele to make a donation. Now, how much is enough to donate? There's no amount too small or big. Just 10 Rand will help provide 3 meals for one person a day. Now, that is an easy way to make a big difference, Anel.
Isn't that amazing? That 10 Rand, only 10 Rand.
And I think for so many of us, we take that for granted, you know.
Yes.
So please may you show us how easy it is, because some of the gokos and mothers or even young ones out there are just like, how does SnapScan work?
Yes. We did the SnapScan the other day already. You told them exactly how to do. So I just go to my app like that. There's my SnapScan app. And now that will be on the screen, the code. So I go to my photo, take a photo of the code, and there it's done it already. And now I'm going to enter my amount. Polly, I'm going to donate 300 Rand today, because that is equivalent to 30 days for one person. So it's a month's food for one person. So then all you do, the amount, and you add pay.
Anele, it's that quick, it's that easy, and most of all, it's that safe.
Yes, it's that safe. And that's all you do.
Wow.
It's done.
So South Africa, it's that easy, it's that quick. Anele has just put food on the table to one person for an entire month. Now, that is a true way to make a real long-lasting difference. Thank you, Anele.
Pleasure.
Now, how does that make you feel, girl?
Exciting. And it just makes us feel like we're doing something for somebody in this difficult time.
Now, I'm sure South Africans also want to get in on this feel-good energy. So remember, if you don't have SnapScan, then you also can use your banking app to scan the QR code on the screen, or visit woolworths.co.za/Together We Will for more info on how you can make an EFT donation. A massive thank you to you, South Africa, for continuously considering our citizens in need and making an effort to assist wherever possible. We chat to the Cora Project, an initiative to end period poverty in South Africa by supporting women and girls in vulnerable communities with the resources and educating them on menstrual health. Welcome to the Loft, Aurora, and I love what you're doing, because we're highlighting periods and menstrual health, but more importantly, initiatives to help those.
Hi.
Now, Aurora,
how are you doing?
Girl, I'm good. And do you know what makes me feel even better? Is because we're highlighting people like yourself who have found something that should be seen as normal, something that is so much a part of our lives, and you're flipping it on its head and you're giving back in such a special way. Now, the Cora Project has been founded, and what encouraged it for you to end period poverty?
So Cora was actually born out of a conversation between my sister and I. She's the other co-founder. And it was during the level 5 lockdown. We were having a deep conversation about, you know, women's empowerment and women's upliftment and periods and period poverty. And we were just saying how periods can really be such an obstacle for so many millions of women and girls around the world, including in South Africa. And it really shouldn't be the case. We even heard a stat that an estimated 30% of girls in school in South Africa miss school when menstruating because they can't afford menstrual products, menstrual care. There's not enough knowledge about it. So there's often a stigma, a culture of shaming. And we just decided we actually just have to do something about it.
Do you only provide in Cape Town or all over SA?
Well, we're still quite a small organization. So for now, we're focusing in Cape Town, but we plan to extend further than that. And we look at a community selection on an ad hoc basis. We started in Hout Bay, and that was our first project. We actually grew up in Hout Bay, so it's somewhere very close to our heart. And now we just looking wherever there's a need. Obviously, there's a need everywhere, but we just on an ad hoc basis.
Aurora, I read up recently that the Prime Minister of New Zealand declared free sanitary pads for all those in school. I mean, that's incredible. Do you think that South Africa, however, could ever get to the same point?
Okay, firstly, she's absolutely amazing, the Prime Minister, Jacinda Ardern. And so actually, not a lot of people know this, but last year, Peter Mboweni actually announced that they were going to 157 million rand of the budget was going towards sanitary products for schoolgirls in public schools. So that's obviously a great step in the right direction, and hopefully it can extend more and people in need can get the products that they need.
Now, Aurora, with COVID-19
Completely.
and the concern of the spread of infection, how then do you keep the sanitary pads safe to distribute?
So that is obviously a huge concern. So we always ask our supporters, whoever donates, to sanitize the products that they donate. But by the time it gets to us, it's obviously past so many hands. In shops, people are always touching. So we just sanitize everything we get and make sure it's hygienic and COVID-free.
That is essential, all of us following those regulations. Now, not only though do you guys there at the Cora Project distribute sanitary pads through your drive, but with donations you receive, you also purchase the Safe Pad, which is a reusable and washable pad. Now, is this then a safer option than the conventional sanitary pad?
The Safe Pad is an amazing product. Obviously, you just said it's reusable, sustainable, it lasts up to 5 years. So it really is just such a long-term solution. It also is the first reusable pad of its kind because it's got this antimicrobial technology in it that continuously sterilizes the pad. So with reusable pads, there's often problems with young girls getting infection because they're not washed properly, they don't dry properly. But with this pad, because it's got the technology in it, it constantly sterilizes itself.
Wow.
So it is such a safe solution. Because it is washable and it doesn't have to, because of the technology, it doesn't have to be washed in clean water. It can be washed in the river.
Oh, wow.
So it's such a good solution to the problem of access to running water.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that this is what's going to be the real game changer and the differentiator between those in those vulnerable communities that don't have fresh running water and able to keep the same hygiene practices that we do in the city. Now, how can viewers donate to the cause and assist in helping to end period poverty?
So we've actually in the process of launching a new project. It's called the Run for Her, and it's basically a virtual run for the month of August, which is Women's Month. So we have a backer buddy which supporters can use to donate funds. And then we also have a snap scan on our profile. We also take donations of menstrual products. We have a drop-off in town, and we always are able to pick up from whoever is not in the central CBD area. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for all this information, and it will also be available on our very own website, afternoonexpress.co.za. Aurora and all things Cora Project, thank you so much for your initiative and making a change during this lockdown that definitely is going to help so many communities. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, to contribute to this worthy and much-needed cause, you can find more information on the Cora Project social media and do your part in ending period poverty.
I just love this Cora Project, and I love the race for her that they're doing, and it's so easy. So I'm going to challenge you, Toombs. So I think I'm going to pick you up one Saturday, and we're going to walk 5 kilometers, and we're going to donate 10 rand per kilometer. Huh? Walk for her? What do you say?
Run kilometers. Wait. I lost you at
Bali, are you going to join us?
You see how my legs are set up? No, I'm joking. I will do almost anything for a good cause, even if it takes me out of my comfort zone, which is definitely my bed, and hot chocolates with some popcorn. But I love the fact that, Anele, you are challenging us to go out there, step out of our comfort zone, and help those that right now are vulnerable and might not have the empowerment that the rest of us share and enjoy. But ladies, as well, we're talking about the things that we love about ourselves. Anele, what about yourself when you're looking physically? Do you kind of say, yeah, girl, you got it?
There's 2 things. My hamstrings.
okay.
I've got mean hamstrings. They go like this, especially when I cycle.
Wow.
And then the other thing is my hair. I love my hair.
I love
when
your
it's
hair.
loose.
I love Anela's hair, guys. Anela takes pride in her hair every time as soon as President Cyril decided to open up the hair salons, Anela came to work that day like, yes, guys, hint, hint, how am I? And girlfriend, you need to show off those legs more often then so we can all share in it. Coming up, we learn from wellness and yoga instructor Pranya Naidu about how yoga and diet can go hand in hand to help improve our menstrual health cycles.
Express yourself.
Yoga instructor Pranya Naidu is all about body positivity, wellness and well-being. She joins us now to discuss how we can bring body positivity into our lives, and she also shares a few diet and yoga tricks to help maintain a good menstrual health. Pranya, welcome to the show.
Hi, and thank you so much for having me, Felisa. It's so nice to see you and be here.
I am actually so glad to have you spend time with us because, girl, you are popular. People are loving all things yoga when it comes to you. So please may you just explain to us, why is it so important to be body positive, especially when you're on your period?
Body positivity in its essence is all about accepting ourselves, accepting our bodies, our skin type, the size and the shape that we are. And what happens is that when we're compassionate about ourselves and we're compassionate about our bodies, we actually stop being shy about something that's so natural, which is being on our menstrual cycle. And I think it's really amazing to be able to be period positive. So body positivity is just a natural link to be period positive because we stop the shame, we stop thinking about our period as a taboo and a dirty topic. And we really start to embrace all the cycles that come with just being a woman and embrace all of the beautiful things that are innate and so, so precious about being a female.
It's so true. So you are currently also studying nutrition. So what advice would you give to our viewers to eat or drink during their menstruating period?
Just drinking much more water than we usually would consume during this time, because during our menstrual cycle, we tend to get dehydration headaches and we tend to also bloat. So just making sure that we're drinking much more water than usual and also avoiding alcohol, because alcohol dehydrates our bodies.
Yeah.
Another food that we really should pay attention to eating a little bit more of during the time is omega-3s, which you can find in like your salmon, your tunas, and your flaxseed oil. And also so important is iron, because what happens when we're on our period is we're losing blood, and so our iron levels drop. So it's really important to keep our iron levels up so we can sustain our energy, and that comes through foods like spinach and tofu and beans and legumes and all sorts of lentils. So it doesn't need to be stuff that doesn't taste good. Obviously, even dark chocolate has iron, so you'll be perfectly fine over that time.
Pranya, let's speak about some of the things you already touched on. Let's speak about some of that bloating and that pain. I do believe yoga is actually quite beneficial for one's menstrual health. So please may you just give us advice as to what pose we can try out to minimize that bloating and that cramping.
Yes, there is. So yoga's, the benefits of yoga is absolutely beautiful for menstrual health. I'm going to do them, and I'd love for you to get on your mat to actually join me and do them as well.
Okay.
So the first one we're going to do, it's called cat and cow pose. And this pose, you just place your hands onto your mat. Your shoulders are underneath your wrists. You're getting your knees onto the mat, digging the feet into the mat. Your back is nice and straight. So imagine if I had to take a little teacup and place it on your back, it's not going to fall off. We're taking a breath in, we're sticking our bums out, and we're looking up towards our ceiling, and we're letting our belly just be nice and loose. Taking a beautiful breath in, pressing into our palms. And as we breathe out, we're chucking our chin in towards our chest, and we're rounding up our spine. So we're curling and pulling that belly button in. Beautiful. And we're going to do that one more time. So sticking the thumb out, and we breathe out, taking the shoulders away from the ears, and then slowly tucking the chin in towards the chest and rounding the spine. So this pose is really beautiful because doing spinal work also helps with emotional balance, and sometimes during our period, we may feel slightly emotional. And there's nothing wrong with that. So just doing this pose helps to stretch out the belly, and it helps with the cramps as well.
Yeah, I think that is very crucial, and a lot of viewers right now are finding so much advice and help tips. So let's keep it going.
Yeah, thank you. So the next one is called child's pose. We're going to take our knees as wide as the mat. If it's comfortable for you to bring your big toes to touch, otherwise it's fine, just let them flop open. We're going to breathe in, taking our hands up towards the ceiling, and as we breathe out, we just forward folding, getting our forehead onto the floor and just relaxing. So you breathe in and out here, and this pose, child's pose, is really beautiful because it's almost like you're giving your reproductive organs a little hug, and you're really flexing them out and stretching them out. So after staying here for your breaths, you can stay here for 1 or 2 minutes, whatever it is that feels comfortable for you. You're also stretching into the lower back, so a lot of people get lower back pain during their period. And then you can slowly and gently come out of it, walking your hands back. How did that feel for you?
Oh, that felt really, really good. I mean, I can kind of identify with that lower back pain from my posture, and especially when it's that time of the month, the pain is excruciating. So I love the fact that I can go into the child's pose.
And the last one we're going to do is just a little bit of a self-love exercise or pose. And this is because, as I was saying, body positivity is really linked to being period positive. So we're just going to have our knees up to the ceiling. We're going to place our opposite palms over opposite shoulders, closing our eyes. And it's like we're giving our heart a little hug here. So closing the eyes and maybe just thinking about something that you love about your body.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us, Pranya. And thank you so much for bringing a smile onto our faces, even during that time of the month. We appreciate it. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
So ladies, a good thing to remember is that diet and fitness does play a role in our menstrual cycle, and that we should always be mindful of what we put into our bodies and how we take care of our bodies so that we can live our best and healthy lives.
If there's one thing I love about yoga, it's the fact that it actually makes you fall in love with yourself and your body and your spirit and your mind. It actually centers you, which is perfect because with menstrual cycles every month, I know our hormones make us go all over the place.
I know.
So it's perfect for just
Grounds you. Polly, you must be grounded now after that session.
I mean, ladies, it's all self-love. I'm hugging myself. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, I love the fact that me and Pranya are on the same wavelength when it comes to smiles being the most perfect part of ourselves, or what we love to celebrate about ourselves. But I just think that that just goes so hand in hand and goes quite well with yoga and the practices of yoga, that holistic energy.
Yes. I mean, the whole idea of love your body, love yourself, even during that time of the month when you don't, find a way to love yourself, ground yourself, level. Usa.
We also touched base with what people need to be eating during this time. I know right now I'm loving my fruits of the forest. It is just replenishing all of those nutrients that I just burnt off there. So ladies in the kitchen, what can we look forward to?
What are we making?
We're making toast today. Beans on toast, ladies.
Can you imagine? It's a
Creamy.
it's a beans on toast dish, but it's delicious. It's hearty. It's got all the nutrients that we lose during the month. That one time in the month, we actually get to replenish it all.
Oh, I love that. That sounds like something I definitely need to try. And someone told me that it takes 15 minutes to make, so you guys know I need to try that. But first, gynecologist Dr. Almarie Basson discusses the importance of effective menstrual education.
Express yourself.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
Gynecologist Dr. Almarie Basson joins us on the show to discuss the importance of menstrual health and why all parents should educate their child on it before the time. Dr. Almarie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Palisa.
Now, doctor, I don't think that we can discuss menstruation before first understanding puberty. So what is puberty and what happens to the body?
So basically, puberty is the transition period from being like a child to adult. And it takes a couple of years for that to take place. And it all starts with the brain. You know, there's lots of hormones in the brain, and then your brain starts producing hormones, and then those hormones start working on your ovaries, or if you're a boy, on your testicles, and then the ovaries produce more hormones, and then we get changes in our bodies because of that. So in the girls, you know, they get start with breast development, they get the pubic hair, the underarm hair, the face can happen with the pimples, and then, you know, obviously menstruation.
Now, please may you explain what exactly menstruation is and how mothers can prepare their daughters for it.
Menstruation is that monthly bleed that women get. I always say to the patients, it's almost like if you picture a little bird's nest. So it's the body that's making a little nest. And if there's not an egg that's going to sit in the nest, then you get rid of the nest. So it's basically losing the lining of the womb every month. So the body prepares for a pregnancy. If nothing happens, it's got to start all over again. And I think if you actually explain that to little girls, to say them that it's actually something so natural and only females can do it, then you take sort of the negative out of it.
For our young ladies sitting and watching the show from their living rooms, what is normal in terms of blood loss, pain, and duration?
Okay, so normal for us, we say, is anything from 2 to 7 days. But it's also important, that when you start your periods for the first time, that you're not necessarily going to have a period every month, and it is okay to occasionally skip a period. So 2 to 7 days, and it should happen roughly every 21 to every 35 days. And also the amount, we think every month you bleed yourself to death, but basically the average amount of blood loss is about 60 mils. So It's not even half a cup. It's much less than that. It's a quarter cup. So some people just have a little bit of spotting, but unfortunately some people really, really suffer and have terrible periods where they, with this flooding, they swell themselves and it just becomes, they just feel miserable. But, initially your body, it needs to find its own rhythm. So I just tell the patients, just hang tight, it is going to get better. And if not, then there's always help. We can always help easing it a bit for the patient,
I love that you highlighted the fact that everyone is different and everyone's body reacts differently to their menstrual cycle. Now, when should our young ladies, and all ladies in fact, seek help?
Basically, if your periods are extremely painful, I'm talking about the pain where you literally cannot climb out of bed in the morning. They cannot function. Moms send the kids to school because they feel like, come get over yourself, it's just a period. And then, the teacher would phone and say, please come and collect your child. This child is in agony. So if the periods become debilitating in terms of pain, if they bleed so much that they bleed through their clothes, if they swell themselves, if they have to change the sanitary wear every 15, 20 minutes, they can't go to school like that because, no teacher will allow them to go to the bathroom that often. And some people actually faint with their periods because of pain. And if you see that your child gets really tired, like lethargic, they almost become what we call anemic. That's a sign that they really lose a significant amount of blood. And I think, if you have an open relationship with your child and your daughter, then you should also, be able to gauge, is she bleeding a moderate amount? Is this really excessive? And you as the parent then need to do the responsible thing and bring it to a gynecologist or to the GP at least, if you can.
What are some of the potential problems caused by menstruation, and how can we go about treating them?
The ones that we can treat is like if you are anemic, which means you've got low iron because you've lost a lot of blood, then we can just maybe supplement your diet with extra iron and maybe give you sort of iron in a tablet form. And that's easy to rectify. The problem comes in if you've got something like endometriosis. And endometriosis is really characterized by severe pain, and it gets progressively worse. So every period is almost like worse than the previous one. And then the thing about endometriosis is that it runs in families. So there's usually a mom or an aunt or a granny that can relate to your sort of symptoms, and then the bell should ring, and that definitely needs to be sort of addressed by a gynecologist. One can actually offer medication nowadays that can really, really help with the flow, make it less and less painful, So there's lots of things you can do. But the main thing is that, is when something feels wrong, and children sometimes are very shy, speak up, and if you can't sort of confide in your mother or a sister, then maybe the teacher or a friend at school, we must just open platforms so that kids can actually, have somebody available to speak to,
Let's all wise up and know what to be faced with. Thank you so much, Doctor. We really appreciate your assistance with destigmatizing menstruation.
My pleasure. Thanks, Belisa.
Cheers. Now, ladies, there you have it. Menstruation doesn't have to be this big idea that you just can't seem to get over. As a mother, sit down with your daughter and let's keep ourselves educated and let's keep those lines of communication open. We definitely do thank Dr. Busan for all of her information, and we do find it critical and key to stay educated and wised up. Head over to social media, Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express and let's share your experiences with us. Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. We are never without a good faith that a good meal can turn any long blue day around. The only blue thing about any day should be Clover fresh milk. And so, we're here to refresh your midweek dinner with our delicious creamy braised garlicky beans on toast.
Oh, that sounds divine. Huh?
It is divine. It's one of your recipes.
I know.
I absolutely love it.
You know what I like is that dinner doesn't have to be complicated, Tooms.
So
you know,
true.
I'm lazy sometimes and I just want a piece of toast with something on top.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you want is a quick meal and sit
Yes.
down. You don't want to be sitting in, at the pots the whole evening.
Exactly. And what we use today is tinned beans. So it's a pantry staple. You don't have to go to the fridge or anything. It's a pantry staple and a slice of bread. And that's it.
Perfect.
Yeah. So how am I going to start with this? I'm going to add some olive oil to a pan.
Okay.
Some butter. I cut a whole garlic head in half.
Okay.
So what we're going to do with this, we're just going to roast it like that, bake it like that. So it is delicious. It's going to flavor the oil, but it's also going to become soft and smooth eventually.
You know, I love that caramelly flavor of it once it's nice and crisp and...
Oh, it is delicious.
It's so divine.
And it actually at the end looks like this. And what we're going to do with this, we're going to put it on the toast that you're going to be making. Are you going to start with the toast?
Nice one. Actually, let me get started with that because mine is quite simple compared to what you're about to do. I'm just going to brush our bread here with some olive oil and then toast it on either side.
Okay, perfect.
But yeah, please let us know what you're doing over there because I'm very intrigued because like you just mentioned, it's a simple meal, but it goes a long way because beans are very hearty and healthy.
Now we're just going to add our 2 tins of beans, and you can use any beans that you like.
Okay.
Broad beans, the smaller beans. Here's a bit of black-eyed beans. This is sugar beans and black-eyed beans. But you can even use chickpeas or anything like that. Chickpeas, lentils will also work, the cooked lentils.
And people don't understand how much, like you mentioned earlier, there's so much protein in this dish.
Yes.
You actually won't even miss the meat.
Yes, yes.
So it's perfect, actually.
And I'm going to add some of our Clover fresh milk in their very recognizable blue bottle. We love this blue bottle.
Like we said, the only thing that should be blue about any day is your Clover fresh milk and nothing else.
Yeah, and it's taking the Monday blues away and the Wednesday blues away and the Friday blues away. All the blues away.
Exactly.
And it is like 55 quality test. It lasts for 18 days.
Imagine.
You know,
So basically all that you have here, you buy and you keep and you can just make any time within that 18 days. You can make this meal 3, 4, 5 times basically.
Exactly. I'm going to add a sprinkle of chilies. You know, I love my chilies.
I know Pale's going to enjoy this because she absolutely loves the spicy stuff.
And I'm going to add some masala.
Okay.
But if you don't have masala, you can always use anything like nutmeg or a curry powder, any flavor that you like. And I'm going to add some thyme. I love the floral fragrance of thyme. It is just delicious. And I want to show you a trick.
Okay.
If you've got a grater, any form of grater like that, and you want to get the leaves off here, what do? You should push it through a little hole there. And you push it through. Look at that. There's all the leaves are underneath. Let me do it again.
We do miracles here on Afternoon Express. We don't just give you recipes, we also perform miracles.
I love it. It's such a nice, cool trick.
It is.
Look at that. Like, so you don't sit with a little stalky in your food eventually.
Because that alone, just trying to get the leaf off the stalk takes 10 minutes.
I know.
So that's already your meal like delayed by 10 minutes just because of that. Wow, that's a cool trick actually.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm going to add a bay leaf. But if you don't have time, always remember you can substitute. We like to inspire our people.
Yes.
So if you want to change the ingredients, please do so. So you can put some rosemary in there or anything else in there. And that is it, Tooms. I'm going to season it with salt and some pepper. And the people can get this recipe on afternoonexpress.co.za if they want this recipe. Gonna add that, and then you braise it slowly for just 15 minutes. So there's the toast. So all you do is toast. You can put these toast, stack it up, and serve your beans on the bowl on the side. But I like to add it all. Oops. That can stay there. I'm going to add it all up here on top.
So like an open sandwich, basically.
Open sandwich.
Ooh.
Look at that.
I'm already, like, this is an all-day kind of meal because you could have this with breakfast, you can have it at lunch, you can have it any time of the day.
Yes. Can you pass me that other piece of bread? I just want to show something because I forgot to show the people what to do with this. So what you do with this garlic is softened, and you actually just smear it over your toast like that, and you can pop it on back on
Gives
there.
you more of that garlic flavor then.
And what I also like, I love garlic. So what I do, I add it on top of here. I take them out of the little thingies, and they're soft now. They're not as pungent as the garlic normally is. And
but also garlic is good for you, so you can never go wrong with garlic. So.
Absolutely, sister. And then I'm going to put some parsley for some greenery and also for a bit of fresh flavor on top of it. Look at that. Gosh, it looks delicious.
And that is a filling meal.
Drizzle of olive oil. I love it. And then always a bit of parmesan. And if you don't have parmesan, feel free to use cheddar, mozzarella, anything that you like.
And that is it, South Africa. In 15 meals, you have yourself a delicious Wednesday dinner that you can enjoy. And enjoy. Now, that's one way to freshen up your Wednesday. To get your hands on this recipe, head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Nothing beats the long-lasting freshness and quality taste of Clover fresh milk. Made with love by Clover.
It's beautiful how we're talking about menstrual cycle today, and the meal that we've just made is also perfect for that because it helps enrich and give you back all the nutrients that you might have lost because you're bleeding. So I think that actually makes sense, and well done on that recipe. It's quite delicious. Palisa, I think you'll enjoy it specifically because of the chili flakes, because you like your food hot.
I heard that. Shout out to you. You know when your people just know you and your people just get you. Thank you, ladies, for just knowing me and knowing my body and what I kind of crave and what I lean and yearn for. And ladies, speaking about it, you know, earlier on we were touching base with how men can get involved in this conversation. A lot of men might feel like, this has nothing to do with me, so let's change the channel. This has everything to do with you because, you know, happy wife, happy life. We've got a cameraman. His name is Pete.
Pete.
Ladies in South Africa, gentlemen of South Africa, when I tell you this man taught me about my own period, I mean, how, right? He was like, Palisa, if you are experiencing a lot of pain during that time, you need beforehand to get cranberry pills and little cranberry juice and start feeding yourself all these things beforehand. And do you know what you also need to do? All this advice, all this help. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? Amen.
Bravo. Bravo, Pete.
I agree.
And I think it's also it comes with a mother educating a boy about it. So he is educated as he grows up about it. I think it's a big thing.
What an introspective hour it's been, ladies. Learning so much valuable information about a part of our life many women have to deal with. Now, coming up, we reflect on some of the most iconic achievements South African women have made.
Express yourself.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more.
No one can stop me when I
Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys. When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more.
No one can stop me when I
Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now, my mother told me to be a lady, and for her, that meant to be your own person, be independent. Now, ladies, this is one of my favorite quotes by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. As we all know, National Women's Day is this Sunday, and what better way to celebrate the beautiful women of South Africa than by sharing a moment around the table, by enjoying Coca-Cola with a wonderful home-cooked meal and with your loved ones. Taking the time to celebrate and reflect on women's achievements in South Africa. Let's take a step back and taste the simple joys of life and share what Women's Day truly means to us. Now, ladies, I couldn't think of something better than to just have some Coca-Cola Zero, have some food, and have you, ladies.
I know, just to sit together means so much to me in this beautiful August Women's Month. But Polly, what does it mean to you, Women's Month, as a person?
Yo, Anele, that is such a good question and such a huge one, because I feel like August is such a beautiful opportunity that it allows us to focus for one whole uninterrupted month of August and just look at all those women doing incredible things, you know, giving a pat on the back to the women that deserve it the most, women who have been game changers and leaders within the industries that they belong to, you know. But more than anything, a step above and beyond cheerleading them and celebrating them, I think this is also a unique opportunity to challenge the causes that are for women. So like today's show, you know, we looked at menstrual health and all of that. Let's also take a step deeper and let's look at gender-based violence, you know, this month. Let's specifically look at things that are focused and geared towards helping us as women. And I think that's what August is all about for me.
Yeah, I fully agree. That was a mouthful, but it's a mouthful that is worth listening to.
Talking about mouthfuls, I want a bit of this delicious pasta.
I mean, on that note, Bale, you've mentioned a whole lot about women, and I think we are at that point in our lives now where celebrating women in general it should just be part of our DNA, because women are part of the world in great ways. We're doing great things all over. Women are changing the game, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, and I don't know if you ladies will allow me to kind of discuss some of the women I want to kind of look at and share, because maybe those that inspire me will inspire you.
Absolutely. Please go again.
Yeah, because I was actually going to ask you if there's one particular female figure that inspires you and why.
If I hone in on the South African context and my own industry, which is entertainment and being on television, I have to give a huge shout out to Mama B. Do you guys already know who Mama B is? Mamba Sitsana Kumalo.
Yes.
I mean, she has been so exemplary when it comes to what it is to hold yourself in honor as a woman in the industry, and of course create a family and an empire when as you do it, you know. I love the fact that she calls herself the mother of a tribe. You know, I call her mama of the tribe, mother of nations, but more than anything, she's a boss bae, and I just love her, you know, from her days of pageantry to where she finds herself now, and the philanthropic work that she's doing, giving back. It's so beautiful to see. I mean, couple goals, family goals, love them all.
And she loves her kids and family. But I see you in her, Polly. I see you in a few years' time, like Mama B, in a house cooking with the kiddies running around. Lovely husband. She is such an inspiration.
Yeah, she is. But another thing, though, you know, speaking about the many women, I also have to touch base with my own personal life. You know, I see Mama B from afar. You know, but if I were to bring it closer to those that I live with daily and those that inspire me daily, I have to also, you guys already know who I'm going to mention.
No, we don't know.
My mother.
Of course. Oh, your mother. I thought you were going to mention us. No, but your mother is.
I mean, you ladies too, no shade, no tea to you ladies. Cheers to you ladies. But I also have to say cheers to my mom. I call her, you know, my mama Oprah, my Kris Jenner. You know, she is the lady who's been my prayer warrior and who's helped me through so many different things in life, you know.
And we know your mama as well. We talked to her on the phone. She's our mama as well. So to you, Mama Polly,
She's my angel on earth. I love her. And also, you ladies have been exemplary yourselves. So throughout the week, I also want to touch base with you ladies and see who you're celebrating along with your delicious beverage here.
Yeah, I can't wait to share my women that I love.
Because I love celebrating this. I love exactly what we're doing now. During the times where we can't be together, this is perfect. Being able to sit around the table and share a meal and just discuss the women that we look up to that actually are exemplary and changing our lives as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I love it all, ladies. Thank you. Thank you for the food. I also realized that you guys did go above and beyond for me in the kitchen, holding it down. I also want some of that chickpea toast, so forget me not. Please forget me not. Now, we need to share more moments like these special moments, and we hope that you do too. Join us tomorrow for another moment around the table celebrating women. Thank you, Anel. Yema, before you say bye, South Africa wants to know what we're doing tomorrow on tomorrow's show. Okay. Do you guys know yet who we're talking to?
No. Surprises.
We're going to be looking at another campaign that we love to champion here on Afternoon Express. And South Africa, I would love you to join us again tomorrow as we engage with Lebu Mashile and Ayanda Mantombazana Mhlongo on the issue of colorism and the politics of beauty. Until then, good night, stay safe, and happy eating.
Cheers, everyone.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.